Hi everyone, it's Leo here. And have you ever heard of Peter Thiel? He's the co-founder of PayPal and the first investor and chairman of Facebook, so he's seen a lot of progress in technology over the years. However, he says that technological progress is actually slowing down recently, except for the IT revolution led mostly by the internet. Now, for a while I did believe his ideas because they seemed so compelling, and he actually wasn't the only one talking about this. The more I looked into it, the more I knew he was wrong, and actually innovations are happening faster than ever, and with those new innovations, companies are born. I know we're currently witnessing a stock market crash right now, and I hope that doesn't affect you too badly. However, to take advantage of this, stocks are now cheaper than ever, so that's great news if you're here to invest. And don't forget guys, if you enjoyed this and learned something useful, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe to see my upcoming videos. So enjoy. Now the first innovation I'll talk about, and these are in no particular order, is deep learning. Now deep learning is part of a general class of machine learning algorithms. Now let's face it, you don't really want to learn about machine learning and you don't really care what it is, but basically deep learning is software that teaches itself. Compared to traditional software where an army of human coders write line by line every piece of code, in deep learning that software isn't written but is trained. It uses AI models and labeled data. It learns the right behaviors, improves with more data, and can even exceed human performance. In fact, deep learning is now becoming better than humans at an alarming rate. Software is now better at driving, identifying certain types of tumors, playing chess or any other game really, and many other things like recommendations, prompting some people like Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking to spell that AI and deep learning might be humanity's biggest threat. However, if you're not fearful of this AI doomsday scenario, here are some companies that you should invest in that are using deep learning. Tesla. Now I know I've said this before in my first video, and by the way you should go check that out and smash that like button, but Tesla will dominate the autonomous ride-hailing industry. It'll have a service like Uber, but without the driver. So it'll have insane margins, basically like a software company, making it very profitable in the future. Google and Amazon. Now these two companies use deep learning massively with improvements in recommendations and user retention, but also new smart speakers that apparently in 2019 have responded to over 100 billion commands. Billion. That's over 10 times the size of the human population. And this number just keeps on growing. So watch out for them. Nvidia. Now this company makes what every AI researcher needs, a GPU, which is basically the hardware that you need to train your AI models. Their stock has gone up like crazy in the past 3 to 4 years, but one should be careful because their price to earnings ratio is actually very high, and companies like Tesla and Google are starting to make their own chips, which poses a big threat to Nvidia's core business. Don't forget that deep learning is suspected to add $30 trillion to global equity markets. Now compare that with the $10 trillion added by the internet. Now number 2 is something probably everybody is doing right now in self-isolation, and that's streaming media. Whether it's TV shows or music or gaming, everyone's doing that right now. Streaming technology is now delivering more and more content through the internet. Consumers now have instant access to gaming video, TV shows and movies, and music. Remember the good old days of renting a DVD at the movie shop or even a VHS tape? Yeah, neither do I. But actually Blockbuster didn't go bankrupt that long ago. It used to be that MTV, Warner Brothers and EA Sports did the content, and Blockbuster, Comcast and GameStop did the distribution. And that's the way it was for decades. But now companies are doing both content and distribution. You can think of YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Twitch, and most recently Disney Plus, which after only a couple months has signed over 30 million members. I mean, that's insane. Disney is probably incredibly undervalued right now because they have about the same valuation as Netflix, even though they offer many more services. Let's also not forget that music streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music are reviving the music industry, which has had declining revenues for the past 10 years. But it's the game streaming industry that is poised to grow the fastest over the next 5 years using services like Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, bringing total revenues up from $5 billion today to $25 billion in 5 years. Now, number 3 is something I care deeply about, and that's because I actually use this personally in the lab, and that's next generation sequencing. Now, the history of the field of genetics can be traced back a long time, but I'll start about 30 years ago. In 1990, work began on what is now known as the Human Genome Project, an ambitious moonshot project that aimed to identify each base pair of human DNA, all 3 billion of them. Most experts believed actually this would take 100 years or longer to complete this project, given the recent progress they've made. However, lo and behold, only 13 years later, in 2003, the project was complete, because technology progresses exponentially, not linearly. In fact, the cost to sequencing a human genome has gone down dramatically since 2003 in the Human Genome Project, going down from almost $3 billion then to just under $1,000 nowadays. That's a 3 million-fold improvement. And the company that's actually really behind building the platform that allows next-generation sequencing is Illumina. Their disruptive technology is actually faster than Moore's law, which is the observation that the number of transistors in a chip doubles about every 2 years. And that has enabled the tech revolution that we see now in Silicon Valley. And as costs massively decline, the demand for sequencing surges in biotech areas such as liquid biopsies, solid tumor profiling, germline testing, immune oncology, and even prenatal screening. And that was all in one take, so go ahead and smash that like button. This will completely transform oncology, since doctors have a much better estimate now of someone's risk to a certain type of cancer and can monitor disease recurrence much more precisely. That's why the DNA sequencing market is poised to grow from $3 billion today to over $20 billion in 5 years. Now, this last one is actually not a stock or an industry, but unless you've been living under a rock for the past 10 years, I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. And that's Bitcoin. The open, neutral, and permissionless monetary system with no reliance on any government body. We finally did it, guys. And let's not forget about the impact that Bitcoin has actually had. It has completely transformed what money actually is. Currencies can now finally be created as a private initiative and have the self-custody and sovereign wealth ownership that's only created by cryptocurrencies. After Bitcoin was introduced in 2008, during the meltdown of the global financial system, there was a sort of Cambrian explosion of monetary systems, creating a global battle for the best one. The winning system will ensure that money will be transferred and stored seamlessly, money will not be diluted arbitrarily, money will not be frozen or seized, money transactions will be auditable, and record of transactions will be secure and immutable. Among cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin satisfies all of these requirements and has the strongest user base, making it the best bet in terms of new monetary systems. Even more impressively, Bitcoin is finally gaining credibility in the financial community, with various banks and entities supporting it, in particular Square. Square also has their Cash app with over 30 million monthly active users, which is highly undervalued, so I think Square is a top stock to buy, but more on that in another video. I believe the result of Bitcoin will be measured in trillions of dollars, which is over an order of magnitude bigger than the current $150 billion market cap it has today. And I'm sure a lot of you are asking yourself right now, well, Leo, how do I actually buy this magical thing called Bitcoin? Well, there's a couple ways to do that. The first method is actually to use Coinbase. Coinbase is a digital currency exchange, which is basically like a stock market for virtual currencies. All you have to do is create an account, deposit some money, and now you can finally start trading this magical thing called cryptocurrencies. Now, they do charge a small fee of about 1.5%. So if you want to buy Bitcoin for $100, let's say, your actual charge will be $101.50. So be warned. And if you don't want to go through Coinbase, you can buy a stock that reflects actually the price of Bitcoin perfectly, which is called the Bitcoin Investment Trust. And their stock only costs about $7 per share, which is quite a lot lower than the $6,000 price tag we have now for Bitcoin. So to recap, the 8 companies that I think you should be investing in right now and take advantage of that exponential trend of disruptive technologies is Tesla, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Netflix, Disney, Illumina, and Square. So I did mention a couple of other companies in here like Coinbase, but unfortunately they aren't public yet, so you can't trade them, so I'll get back to you in another video once they are. Anyway, that's it for this video, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't already, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of great videos coming out soon, so you don't want to miss out on any of that. So see you in the next video. Alright.